Welcome back to the whole podcast, Casey. We are interviewing today Natalie Holmgren, who is our marketing and communications manager. I will go ahead and let you get started with a description of your position here at the whole person.
Yeah, so I do lots of social media work, lots of print work. So any flyers you see that the whole person makes, yeah, flyers to postcards to email marketing, kind of a little bit of everything. Yeah, but basically getting the word out about the whole person and promoting events and all that good stuff.
Awesome. So, how did you get into marketing? Is this something that you've always been passionate about and went to college for, or what was the process?
So I had no idea what I wanted to do when I went to college. I was undeclared
Most
major.
people, I feel like.
Right, yep, like, I was undeclared the first 2 years and had to choose something by junior year, and that was the only intro class I hadn't taken yet. I had taken every intro class I could, and I'm like, "I guess I'll do communications," and thankfully, I liked it a lot, and, yeah, so definitely wanted to focus on, like, digital marketing, and social media and that kinda stuff, and I had some organizations and stuff that I was in college and high school that I kinda, like, dabbled into doing social media marketing and, did lots of photography growing up too. So it kinda just all aligned at the right time.
Well, I will say after I've seen some of your artwork that you've done, and I know that we've made a few things for some employees here for retirement. And after I see all that, I'm like, yes, she's very creative. She's
Uh
doing the right thing. That she's, I mean, it's important to like it, but when you're really talented, it probably is a lot easier as well. You also have an invisible disability, which is we've talked about a few times here on the podcast. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I, had a TBI a couple of years ago. It was actually not quite 2 years ago yet, it was about a year and a half ago, and, yeah, ended up just kinda making a bad decision, and it was raining outside, and I took a bad fall. I climbed something and, yep, woke up in the ICU and definitely flipped my life around, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds very traumatic.
yep.
I'm sure your life was completely changed
Yeah.
for a while there. Um, so did what changes do you notice about like your personality after your injury?
I think the biggest thing during recovery, I don't know, it was mostly irritability. I had bad anger issues, and, I mean, memory definitely was affected too, and, um yeah, and I learned a lot about, like, just recovering from a TBI. I had no idea what went into it, and, I mean, doing research and also just talking to my doctors about it too, specifically with a concussion,
Mhm.
like, it's pretty normal at, like, that 6-month timeline after your injury, you're gonna be irritable, you're like, yeah, mood swings, memory, focus issues, and, so that was really hard to cope with,
But
n
was it a little bit easier knowing that that's what's to come after a TBI, or were you still
yes.
kind of frustrated with that part of being irritable?
It helped, and it was hard because my brain just wasn't all there right after it. I mean, that first month after the injury, I mean, there are also other factors too that didn't help my mental health, like, I couldn't work anymore. I had to quit my job, 'cause I couldn't look at a screen, the light sensitivity thing and
Sure.
the memory and focus and that stuff, so I was out of a job for, I mean, quite a while, probably 6 months, and then actually ended up serving after that just because I couldn't look at a computer screen and do the career I, signed up to do, and, so that also kinda contributed to the depression and just, I don't know, low motivation and low hope in my brain, I guess,
Yeah.
um, and so it's actually about probably 5 months after the injury, I, made an appointment with my psychiatrist and, like, was hoping for answers or hoping for something I could take or be prescribed to help with the anger and irritability, and he's like, "I in 2 months, it will heal itself." Like, he
Oh,
didn't
okay.
end up
So with
giving me
time,
anything.
but I'm sure
Mhm.
it's still hard to be patient, because that is frustrating.
Definitely, and sure enough, it did. It was probably about a month or 2 after
Wow.
that, and,
Good.
um, yeah, that definitely got better. There's obviously still lingering struggles, but,
Sure.
that was hard.
I
That
know
was
you
really
mentioned
hard.
light sensitivity. Are these lights killing you?
Yes.
I know, they do me too. I joke with the guys all the time that I'm gonna get sunglasses and start wearing because
Yes.
I'm very sensitive to light as well, and so it's like, I know I'm just probably squinting, and not to mention when you have, like, the sinus headaches going on, it
True.
makes it much
Yeah,
worse.
it depends on the day. I've definitely
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah, and with this rainy day that we have here.
Mhm.
So what was the recovery process like for you?
It yeah,
Did
it's
you have, like,
hard.
lots
It
of
was
doctor's appointments, and did you do any type of therapy or, um
yes, lots of follow-up question or lots of follow-up appointments with doctors, and it I'm really thankful for my parents for being there, honestly, because I couldn't drive. I was on pain medication for good 3 weeks after, the injury, which so I was in the hospital for 3 days, and then, was prescribed these things, but then after I left the hospital, that really wasn't the point of contact anymore. I had to go through my primary care, which is just
Oh,
kind of messy. It was
interesting. Yeah.
very frustrating because I needed to get my pain meds refilled and couldn't do that through the hospital. And then it was a whole workaround. And so glad
Not
my
to
mom
mention how
helped.
difficult it is to get in with your primary care.
Right.
Um, that's very time consuming.
Yeah. But as for, yeah, I don't know, that first month was hard. Being on pain medication is really affects, you're sleeping all the time. I couldn't do my work. It was just, yeah, really tough. And then I tried to go back to work, tried to do about 20 hours a week, kind of like gradually got back
Work
into
your
it,
way up.
like
Yeah.
10 hours a week probably for a couple weeks, and then tried to do 20 and then ended up just quitting the job
Just too
because I,
much.
yeah, needed to focus on my recovery. And a lot of things that the doctor said is like, don't overstress yourself because that will slow down the recovery process. So had to just make that decision for myself. And yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's tough, but
Yeah, I bet. I
long
can't
road, long
imagine.
road.
Yeah. You've came such a long way and it's been what, a year and a half
Year and a
since
half.
your injury and
Yeah.
now you're working full time,
Yeah.
staring at a computer screen full time,
Yep, yep.
8 hours a day.
Yeah, that's the first job since the injury, so
What was your experience like in the hospital?
it and frankly, I don't remember much. I was
Fair.
definitely on lots of pain medication, and, all that I really remember is, the nurses coming in and asking me what my name is, what's my birthday, where am I, um, what year it is, and I was I definitely noticed the frustration or, like, the irritability start then. Like, I was mad all the time. I was
Yeah.
mad all
Why
the
are you
time.
asking me these questions
Yeah,
constantly? Yeah.
yeah,
Because you
and
probably didn't understand the reason behind it.
no, I had no idea, and the
Yeah.
first few times I answered it, it was like, I knew my birthday, I knew my name, but then answering where I was, I'd answer like, "I'm in a building," and it didn't occur to me until later, like, "Oh, yeah, that's concerning. That's pretty concerning." Memory just
But
wasn't
that
there.
probably helped them gauge like what process you were on the recovery.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and yep, so I had lots of CT scans, lots of many things, but, like, my friends and family came and visited, and I remember, like, seeing them for a minute, and then, like, I would just doze back off, but, um,
And how
yeah,
long were you in the hospital for?
it was 3 days. I was in ICU for 2 days, and then I think it's called the recovery
Yeah, yeah.
unit?
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that for, like, the last day, and yeah, it was a slow process that last day. I was so ready to be out of there.
Oh,
Definitely ready to
I'm
be out of
sure
there.
most people
Yeah.
are. Hospital's not a great place to be.
Yeah, and with the follow-ups, going back in there was really hard.
Sure, because it
Um,
kind of brought it all back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very triggering.
So I know you mentioned your parents, and of course, parents are always a great support system. Was that who your main support system was, and your friends just keeping you high spirits,
Yeah, yeah, and just
motivating?
being there for me, I'm and I've talked to a lot of them now about it too, and, like, yeah, I was not a pleasant person to be around, and, like, I'm grateful that I can look back on it now knowing that, like, that was just a different brain, that wasn't
Right, it
me,
wasn't you.
and I'm glad they stuck it out.
Right.
And it's just crazy, and so if I don't remember a time waking up in the hospital and my mom wasn't there, and if I did wake up and she wasn't there, like, I would've been terrified,
Yeah,
and so
sure.
yeah, and my dad was was always there for me too, and I mean, my parents definitely helped me out financially too. That was a big struggle. I
Oh,
mean, I
I
couldn't
bet.
couldn't work,
Right.
and obviously medical bills are very expensive too, and the insurance deal is a whole nother battle.
So were
Yeah.
you what did you do with your apartment that you were in? Were you able to, like, talk with them and work that out, or did you just move out, or how did that work?
I was still there for a while until my lease was up. Um, yeah, yeah, and that was hard, and honestly, I probably could have looked into more options of maybe getting help from the government or the state. I don't know how all of that works.
Right.
But at that time, like, my
That's a really
brain.
hard process too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot to
yeah,
handle on
and
top
I
of what you've been through,
right, and, like, I didn't have the energy to
put into it.
go through those things, and,
Right.
yeah, thankful my parents could help navigate those
Yeah,
things,
absolutely.
and the doctors and just all of that. Because I don't know. Yeah, it makes me think of people that go through a TBI and don't have a support system, and I don't know how they could navigate the system the
Right.
way it currently
Right.
is.
Parents are great.
Yes, I love them.
Yes.
Shout out mom and dad.
And what advice would you give someone who's had a TBI and is maybe kinda going through that recovery stage?
I'd say, yep, keep your family and friends close. Even if your brain might not be all there and you might feel like hopeless, they are there for you, and it won't always your brain won't always be the way it is at that current moment, and, like, it's gonna take a while, it'll take
Just be
months,
patient.
but be patient,
Yeah.
and there will be light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
and there may be some things that are lingering effects, but you'll learn the habits to cope with them.
Yeah, that kinda leads into my next question. Do you have any lingering symptoms? I know you can't smell because 'cause we've had conversations about that.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
we'll walk into the, catering kitchen, and I'm like, "Man, what are they cooking today? It smells good." And you're like, "Tell me, what does it smell
Like,
like?"
describe it, I need to know.
Yeah,
Like, I forget what smells were like. It's crazy,
that is
but
crazy.
before the injury, I had COVID, and that messed up my smell,
Right,
and taste, and so it wasn't until, like, a month after the injury I even noticed that it was completely gone. I'm like, "It's just COVID residual, I don't
right.
know," and nope, sure enough, then, yeah,
It never
it was
came
just
back.
zero smell at all, and, um, that's a big factor. With taste, I guess I do still have it, but learned somewhat recently that I can't taste as well because I can't smell. So
Right, kinda
smell
go hand in
determines
hand.
I think determines, like, 70% of your taste. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Um, yeah, so that's a big one that I still battle with, and I've gotta if I'm cooking, I have to set timers or else I will burn something and have no idea it's burning in my kitchen.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that's
happened.
true.
That's happened.
I bet,
Um,
I bet.
things like that. Yeah, just being aware and I don't know, setting timers, that's the biggest thing I can think of for like the smell. Had a bit of hearing loss in my left ear and um it's gotten better since the injury, but yeah, I like right now I have some static and ringing. Like that's been a
Oh
recent thing
gosh,
that only started probably a couple months ago. And so
really?
that's new. I'm still navigating
Do
that.
you
I've
think
got
I
to,
mean, it's related?
I think so. Um, yeah, I had a follow up at the same hospital to go over it and stuff, and they did another test, and it's got to be related. But I've got another follow up in like a month, so we're gonna see.
Is there
I don't
anything
know.
that you can't do because of this injury?
Um, I wouldn't say I don't know, just other like challenges. I'd say. At least when I was initially recovering, I mean, going to concerts I couldn't do, and I love music.
Oh, I
That
know. We've been
yes,
to a few shows together.
yes, like that's my favorite, and I had so much FOMO, just during
Yeah.
recovery because I couldn't do that, and
Mhm.
um, mostly because the light and the
The
noise,
lights, yeah.
like it
The
was
lights get
loud,
to me. If they're, like, very fast strobe lights, like, I
yes,
cannot do that.
and I think that's still an issue for me now. Like I have to look down or like
Uh-huh.
exit myself
Sunglasses.
from the situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
because even I can handle lights better now. Maybe I need some sunglasses or something to help with it.
I need sunglasses for this room.
Yeah, but specifically white strobe lights. Like,
Oh, interesting. It's
it's so
white.
weird. Yeah, like, it's specifically that I have to cover my eyes, and it's just like immediate pain or headache or just I don't know, it's disorienting.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
but that's a big one.
They just make me extremely nauseous when I the
Okay.
lights.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
It's like,
haven't gotten
okay,
nausea
I'm
from
spinning for no reason. All
Yeah.
right, we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Are you an adaptive athlete? Are you ready for your first ever adaptive sports competition in Kansas City? Well, here it is. The Kansas City Ultimate Games is having its inaugural season, hosted by The Whole Person, a proud Move United member. Set your calendars for June 13th through the 16th for bocce, adaptive cycling, and para powerlifting. Unleash your spirit and conquer the challenge. Come get it.
All right, welcome back. We just have a little bit more here to cover with Natalie, and that is the takeaway from your injury accident.
Yeah, I mean, one, feel really grateful just to be alive. I didn't mention this before, but I was an inch away from hitting my spinal cord, and yeah, like it just putting in the just causing that worry for my parents and my family and friends. That's the part I really struggle with for a long time is just the guilt factor, and yeah, I've always been a people pleaser, and so that battle in itself was difficult for me, but I've really taught myself to I don't know, appreciate the people I have in my life and like kind of be able to push that down. And after going through that guilt and stuff, super thankful to have those people in my life and just I guess yeah, going back to what the takeaway of that is from uh yeah, just being able to be grateful for what I have.
For your support system.
Yeah, and just keeping I don't know, my head high on I don't know how to word this. Just knowing there's a light at the end of the tunnel and being patient, being able to be patient. I feel like my mindset definitely kind of changed after it too. I used to worry so much about the future before the injury, and my anxiety was really bad. And yes, I still struggle with anxiety and depression, but I feel like it's more depression now. uh, it's just less of worrying about the future. I'm more of a
Present.
present in the moment
Yeah.
type of mindset, which I'm very thankful to have that. Like I just take things day by day. If today didn't work out, I try again tomorrow. It's going to be a fresh start. And my brain did not used to be like that. And I'm happy
Interesting.
that's like that. Um
Well, that's a positive.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, you have to, it happened, and so you just have to take away the good from it. And you had an amazing recovery. You're able to work now and live on your own, take care of yourself, drive, and go to concerts. And so there's nothing
yeah,
to be too upset about.
yeah. And I guess another takeaway want to get into like how I got this job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was obviously at a very low point in my life and I had to move apartments and to save some money because financial issues
Yeah,
were
sure.
very, very big.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually ended up moving somewhere very close to this office.
Yeah.
And while I was moving in, my mom was there to help me move in. And I come outside and she's talking to this lady outside. And I come and join the conversation. And sure enough, she's asking me about what I do. And I barely even mentioned that I work in marketing. I'm like, I'm serving right now. I don't know, I was just at a low point and
Were
I
you really looking for a full-time job yet, or were you just
know
kinda yeah.
I was like, I didn't know I'd be ready, honestly.
And
And
then you were because you
I was.
started.
Yeah, yeah. So she really helped me out and I'm like used to do marketing. It's like there's some people retiring and like there's job job openings, but like
It was,
nothing
like,
was posted yet.
perfect.
Yeah. And then I really learned about what the whole person offers and there's a TBI support group and I had no idea. I
Right.
had no idea and I wish I did a year ago or a year and a half ago.
I
Like
meet
that
with a
would have
lot
been
of our
huge.
volunteers and sponsors and donors, and, um, they all have stories where they have know somebody with a TBI and didn't know about all of our services that we have available. There's so many resources
Yeah.
available. Just search it on our website.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wish I would have known about that, but I'm
Now you
glad
do.
I'm here now and get to, I don't know, promote those things that could help people
Right.
like me a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
Um, Yeah.
All right, Natalie, thanks so much for your time and sharing your story with us today. We really appreciate it. I'm sure our listeners do as well. A few events, as always, we have our bowling that is third weekend. I'm sorry, the third Wednesday of each month. And then we have rock climbing the second Saturday of each month. You can always go to our calendar on our website at thewholeperson.org to check those events. Then also, of course, we have registration and volunteers. Sign up is available for our KC Ultimate Games, and you can do that on kcultimategames.org. Thanks for joining. See you next time.